What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck report on my Windwitch deck. Now, Windwitch, well, technically, wasn't even a deck. Windwitch before was essentially one of those, like, splash deck, kind of like Lyrillus, Danger. However, I recently got some new support in Blazing Vortex, and was it Blazing Vortex? Yeah, I think it was it was Blazing Vortex. And now it's kind of its own deck now. Well, although it's probably still better as like a splash engine, but you can actually have it as a focus deck now, and it's not too bad actually. You can actually make some pretty good boards with this. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel, because less than half of the people who are watching this video are not subscribed. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. First, I run 3 Ice Spell. Ice Spell, when it is if you control no monsters, you can special summon it from the hand, then special summon one Windwitch monster from your deck. But it cannot be tributed, which that's not really a problem. Although once you use Ice Spell, you are locked into level 5 or higher wind monsters. So if you do this, you are going to be a little bit more restricted. If you don't, you're still most likely going to be restricted to wind, because it does lock you into wind. But you still got plenty of options through wind. Wind Synchro is not a bad type. And if this card is normal special summoned, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Not that much, but hey, it's an extra 500. Now, I run a 3 Windwitch Glass Spell. With Glass Spell is what you usually summon off of Ice Spell. It essentially goes Ice Spell, Glass Spell, and Snow Bell. When a Glass Spell is normal or special summoned, you can add one Windwitch monster from your deck to your hand. And normally you would add the Windwitch Snow Bell. If you control 2 Windwitch monsters, you can special summon it from the hand. Now, it does give an additional effect. A Wind Synchro that was special summoned using this card as a synchro until it cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. And the new card, Freeze Bell, can actually protect it from being destroyed from battle. Speaking of Freeze Bell, I run 3 Windwitch Freeze Bell. Windwitch Freeze Bell, if all monsters you control are Windwitch monsters, you can special summon this card from the hand. So it's kind of like Ice Spell, and once per turn, you can during your main phase, you can increase this card's level by 1. So you can make it a level 4, which is pretty cool. I also run 2 the Wind Charmer. This is a card I'd probably bump up to 3, but I can't find my my Charmer deck. I think that was one of the decks that got put in a box or something, along with the crawlers and dual avatars, sadly. For Wind Charmer, you can discard this card and one other wind, add one wind monster from your deck, one wind monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So pretty much any of the Windwitch monsters. I'll also run a small Speedroid engine with the 3 Speedroid Taken board, which can attribute itself to special summon any Speedroid. 1 Terratop, which is normal or special summoned. You can add 1 Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, and if you control a monster, you can special summon it from the hand. 1 Red-Eyed Dice. Red-Eyed Dice can make one of your Speedroid monsters increase its level by up to level 6. I also run the 1 Speedroid Block and Roll. Now, originally I had Double Yo-Yo in here, but I feel like compared to Double Yo-Yo, Block and Roll is much better in this kind of scenario, because when it is synchro summoned, or when Block and Roll is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can special summon 1 Speedroid token with a level equal to the original level of the synchro monster that this card is used as material. So if you synchro it for a level 7, you can summon a level 7 token, which is good to really help out those. So essentially, if you have, let's say, Snowbell or Red-Eyed Dice on the field, and you activate this effect, that's a free level 8 synchro. I also run the 1 Barrier Statue. Considering this is entirely a wind-based deck, helpful, although most of the times you are not going to use it. I just have it there as it's a good card. Moving on to the hand traps. I run 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Cypher Frame Gear Gamma, and 1 Driver. There's a lot of free space in this deck, and since it does lock you into wind, which, let's face it, there's not a lot of good wind monsters, because most of the good ones are, I'd say, water, dark, and light. There's also some good fire and earth, but for wind, aside from Stormwinds, you don't really have a large card pool to choose from, so I just run hand traps to kind of make up for that space. Moving on to the spells. I run 3 Windwitch Chimes. This is another new card out of Blazing Vortex. Windwitch Chime, you can target a Windwitch monster you control. Special summon one Windwitch monster with a different name from your deck defense position. While it locks you into wind, which most of it does, so that doesn't matter. So essentially, let's say you open with Ice Spell, for example. You go from Ice Spell into Glass Spell into Snow Bell, and then using Chimes, you just get your Freeze Bell. So you have all 4, in which that gives you a lot of plays. I also run 3 Spellbook of Knowledge. You send to the graveyard either one spellbook monster you control or one spellbook card from your hand. And if you do, draw 2 cards. I mainly just run it for the draw power. It's really hard to run draw power in this deck because like Extravagance doesn't work, Desires doesn't work, Duality, not Duality, Prosperity doesn't work. You can run Desires, although I don't want to because I don't want to banish Speedroid Terratop or any of the Speedroid cards because the Speedroid cards really help this deck out a whole lot, and it kind of restricts it much more if I do. Also run the 1 Monster Reborn, because Monster Reborn is Monster Reborn. 1 Speed Recovery, which is a Monster Reborn for Speedroids, and the 1 Cult by the Grave, because he wants to get hand trapped. Moving on to the X deck, I run the 1 Windwitch Winter Bell, and the 1 Diamond Bell. Diamond Bell is one of the new cards out of Blazing Vortex. Honestly, you're most likely not going to ever go into these 2. The only reason I want to run them is because I would side deck Secret Valley of the Spellcasters if need to be. And that way I do have some options for that, and just in case of the long game. But the chances of you actually going into them are very, very low. I run 3 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. In the ideal hand, you can actually put up 2 of these in 1 turn, which is pretty good because this is essentially an Omni Negate for any, well, not exactly an Omni Negate. It's a when an opponent activates a monster effect, you can negate the activation and then destroy it. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to that card's original attack. Yeah, till the end of the turn. I run 2 Clearwing Fast Dragon. Clearwing Fast Dragon is a Crystal Ring, but for extra deck monsters, and it negates the effects of extra deck monsters as well as changes their attack to 0. I run the 1 Crystal Wing Synchro. Crystal Wing Synchro is the weakest between Crystal Wing and the Clearwing Fast Dragon because it only works on level 5 or higher monsters. I run the 1 Cyframe Lord Omega, the 1 Stardust Charge Warrior, as well as a Wind Pegasus Adagnister. I run 1 Kite Drake in case of the long games or you need to destroy your opponent's board. That's a good card to run. Also run the 1 Adamancipator Risen Raptite. This is a card I wasn't seeing running in this deck. Essentially, if you have a wind in your graveyard, which you're going to have a wind monster in your graveyard always, quick effect, you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. So it's essentially a DD Crow. I run the 1 Cosmic Blazer Dragon because it's a wind synchro and not going to get it out too much, but if you manage to get it out, it's a card. And lastly, I run 1 High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter. What do you think of Windwitch? Do you like the new support? Do you think it's a deck that can actually stand on its own? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.